We've built a financial services company. Like, we built it. We have built what everyone's looking for. And it's credit cards, debit cards. It's eventually going to offer like insurance and all these things down the line. And they're leaning into conservative principles. He is a strong conservative. The initial investors, which I will not name, but obviously will come out, they're all strong conservatives. Billionaires that put their money in, realizing that this is where we're headed. And they basically ran the number and realized that conservatives are the ones that pay their bills.
After less than 3 months in business, a bank startup funded by billionaire Donald Trump supporter Peter Thiel and marketed as anti-woke for pro-freedom Americans is closing its doors. To find out more, stay tuned. Welcome to Money Talk Sundays. I'm your host, Stevie B. You already know the deal. Hit that like, share, subscribe button. If you're listening on your favorite podcast streaming platform, go ahead and hit that subscribe button at the bottom. The link to the podcast and all the other social media sites are right there below in the description. Let's get talking about this business that closes doors after 3 months in business. Now, the bank GloriFi burned through $50 million in investment funds, fired off the majority of its personnel on Monday, and informed employees that it would be closing down, according to the first story from the Wall Street Journal. Now, last Friday, hoped-for funds that would have kept the operation going fell through. Now, the website of GloriFi advised users that we will be canceling all accounts registered to date. Savings accounts closed on December 6th and checking accounts on Friday. Today. Now, for customers who find Wall Street too liberal, GloriFi had been promoted as the end-all, be-all alternative conservative banking system. According to the journal profile of the business earlier this year, Toby Neugebauer, an entrepreneur and significant GOP donor, and his business partner Nick Ayers, the chief of staff of former Vice President Mike Pence, claimed that a sizable market of plumbers, electricians, and police officers were fed up with big banks that didn't share their values. Now, according to the journal report, GloriFi promoted capitalism, family, law enforcement, and the freedom to love of God and nation, along with offering bank accounts, credit cards, and plans to offer mortgages and insurance. According to the Rolling Stone, Toby also promoted ideas like credit cards fashioned out of shell casings. That'd have been interesting. Reductions on homeowners insurance. I'm sure we all could use something like that. And help with legal costs for people who use firearms for self-defense. A lot of us who use firearms for self-defense could definitely benefit from that. Now, Candace Owens, a right-wing broadcaster, serves as the company spokeswoman for GloriFi. Now, along with Thiel, the business attracted investors, including Ken Griffin, the founder of Citadel, and Kelly Loeffler, a former Georgia Republican senator. Now, however, within months of opening, GloriFi missed launch dates, alleging poor technology and vendor issues, and according to news accounts, investors' money was also completely gone. Now, according to a statement on the business's website, financial issues due to initial missteps, the failing economy, reputational attacks, and numerous unfavorable stories took their toll. What do you think about GloriFi? If this bank startup, less than 3 months in, was unable to actually start up and open its doors, but is closing its virtual doors because it is missing the freaking launch deadlines. They have initial missteps, a failing economy that they're blaming it on, reputational attacks of the people that are invested in. But if you have such a big core base, what are reputational attacks going to do to you when you have your core base that doesn't care about reputational attacks? They support you regardless, aka MAGA heads. So come on. The excuses here for why this bank did not flesh out completely is ridiculous. and they're just picking at straws. You better find out somebody ran off with the money. Somebody really ran off with the money. We want to talk about FTX and how Sam Bankman-Fried and whoever else misappropriated funds. We could talk about GloriFi. Yeah, it's not a crypto exchange. Yeah, it's not the second largest crypto firm, but it's still a bank, a wannabe bank, a startup bank that had millions and millions and millions of people's dollars lost, gone. Misappropriation of funds. They blame initial missteps, but they missed the freaking launch dates. They had so many things that did not fall in line with being able to launch this bank successfully. So with that being said, GloriFi, I am asking for an investigation into the startup of this business, GloriFi. I'm asking for an investigation into what happened to the $50 million in investment funds. And all these people all of a sudden getting laid off out of nowhere real quick be due to the misappropriation of funds, the mishandling of assets, the mismanagement and poor planning by the people in charge. Let's investigate that while we're out here investigating all these other companies for people's money. Because every lost dollar is a lost dollar. And if more lost dollars equal more people that are hurting. And granted, yes, a lot of these investors are big time investors with lots of money they could lose and just write it off. But still, at the end of the day, there's people that don't have, while you're over here blowing what you don't need and can afford to lose and don't care. But with the people that don't have, can't afford to jump in, can't even afford to do this or that, and you do not even see them, you look the other way, you shun programs that are made to help them level up. Let's investigate that. That's it. That's all I wanted to say about GloriFi. It's just something that came across my timeline. I thought I wanted to talk about it. It is what it is. Back to your regularly scheduled programming. I'm CBB when it's on Sundays. This was just a little quick tidbit on GloriFi. Deuces.
We've built a financial services company. Like we built it. We have built what everyone's looking for. And it's credit cards, debit cards. It's eventually going to offer like insurance and all these things down the line. And they're leaning into conservative principles. He is a strong conservative. The initial investors, which I will not name, but obviously will come out, they're all strong conservatives. Billionaires that put their money in, realizing that this is where we're headed. And they basically ran the number and realized that conservatives are the ones that pay their bills.